My name is Walter Hartwell White. I live at 308 Negra Arroyo Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87104. To all law enforcement entities, this is not an admission of guilt.
My name is Walter Hartwell White. I live at 308 Negro Arroyo Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87104. To all law enforcement entities, this is not an admission of guilt. This is simply a fact that I have to stain my chicken coop, and it's going to be a pain in the ass. Here we go. My son Ryan said, "Man, you look like you're getting ready to go cook some meth." Anyways, I wanted to try on my suit because today I got to go inside the chicken coop and stain the inside of the chicken coop, which is going to create a lot of volatile fumes. So I need to get my respirator. I need to get suited up. But today I'll talk a little bit about staining wood and a whole bunch of myths that are out there. And over the years, my experience with it, plus some professional advice. And just we'll go over it. So here we go. I didn't know it was going to be windy out here. Are we having a bunch of wind noise? I hope not. Holy cow. Button down the hat. All right, so before I begin this video, if you ever want to start a bar fight, start talking about staining pressure treated wood, because there's so many variables and so many different opinions. The number one thing I'm going to tell you is stay off forums, stay off discussions forums, stay off Reddit, stay off all those things. Just do not go to them. I've been painting 20 years and I let my wood sit out for 6 months before I stain it. Okay, so what's the actual science behind this? The science behind this is you have to understand what stain you're using, what type of pressure wood you're using, and you need to have a moisture meter. You can get a moisture meter for 25 to 70 bucks. It's the least used piece of equipment I have, but I think the most important. I only pull it out maybe once a year, but when I need it, I need it. Now the same thing is true on hardwood floors on the inside. For your warranty to be effective on premium grade hardwoods, they want your subfloor at 12% or below. And they came in and tested this house and they had to wait a week. So they put dehumidifiers in here and they had to wait a week. So anyways, it's a real important tool. So let's talk about this. Every piece of wood's different. So a side board like this is gonna dry out pretty quickly. A couple days, this will be down to what I like to have. If you go to the manufacturer's websites and read, they're gonna say 15% or less is where they want your wood to be. So you take your moisture meter, you push it in, it goes in about 1/8 of an inch and you'll get a reading. Now that reading will vary. If you go out in the morning when it's cool and there's dew, it's gonna be probably 2 to 4 points higher. So I like to go out late morning and that's when I test my wood. It is important. Yesterday I went out to this wood at early morning and it was at 16. I went out in the afternoon and it was 9. So it's crazy. So this type of wood's gonna dry out quickly. Now my 4x4 posts, they're not gonna get down to a 12% for maybe a year, but you can't leave wood out here for a year, and that's the mistake people make. The mistake that people make is, well, the guy at Lowe's, which the guy last week when I was buying my stain told me, he said, don't stain your wood for 3 months. Leave your pressure treated wood out there for 3 months before you stain it. Dude, do you know what's gonna happen to your wood if you leave it out? You got rain, you got dust, you got pollen, you got all kinds of crap, you got mold that's gonna start to grow in there. So you wanna stain your wood as soon as you hit, hopefully 12% late morning. Now I'll tell you now, a 4x4 and 6x6 post, it ain't gonna get down there. Matter of fact, I went and tested a little bit later in this video. I'll show you. I tested the 4x4s or 6x6s and they were 28%. I don't care, I have to stain them. All I care about, remember, penetrating stains, whether it's an oil or a water base, you want to use a penetrating stain, and it's only going to go about 1/8 of an inch. When you're spraying it like this, psh, psh, you're maybe going to get 1/8 of an inch. So really, it's just that 1/8 of an inch. Eventually, the interior moisture over the years will eventually go out, but you have to get a protective coat on that wood, and that's the mistake that people make. They wait 6 months. Matter of fact, I was watching a video, and there's a guy who's a professional painter, and he had a couple that had a beautiful deck, and someone told him to wait a year before they stained it, and there was black mold all over their deck. And he was like, dude, you do not do this. He had to go back and put solvents and pressure wash that whole deck, spend 2 days pressure washing that before he went. Then he had to let it dry, and then he went back and put the stain on. So do not fall for the trap of you have to wait a certain whole bunch of 3, 6, or a year before you stain. Again, you stain when your wood is 15% or lower, preferably 12% late morning. That's what I like to see. If you're using fence boards are kind of rough cut. They come straight out of the mill like that. And when you run your hand across it, you know what you're gonna see? You're gonna see sawdust just fly off of it. So yesterday, I spent an hour with a nylon brush, brushing every square inch of that chicken coop. I had to put a mask on. There was so much dust that came off that stuff. If you don't do that, you'll be staining the dust and not the wood. Now you can also, if you have a fence, instead of brushing it, brand new fence, a few days before, leave it out there for a week or so, let it dry, go out there and pressure wash it, give it another couple days to dry off, and then go ahead and stain it. You want to get all that dust off. The other thing is, if you have a smooth board like this, sometimes you get, a smooth board like this, a lot of time they'll run it through a planer, and you get something called mill glaze, and the mill glaze will actually sort of make water bead up. And you could take water, throw water on your board and see if it absorbs. That's another way to test it. But you may have to pressure wash if you're doing something like a deck that has a real smooth board on it. You may have to pressure wash that, get that mill glaze off. Anyways, I have done so many decks, I've done so many fences over the years, and I'm telling you, now the water-based stains, we're using an oil-based stain today, but the water-based stain, they actually say you can go out the day after a rain that evening, you can go out and apply it. And why is that? Is because it slows down the drying process. It allows that to go in a little bit slower. Oil-based, no, it's not. That's not true with an oil-based stain. But these new technology, water-based stains, you can actually go in there. They actually say right after a rain, you can actually go out and stain. We did a test on one of our old fences. It was too hot to stain, so we went out. We misted that whole fence with water. We misted the whole fence. We gave it about 5 minutes, and then we went and we sprayed that water-based stain, and man, it turned out beautiful. So it's a myth that, oh my God, you got a little bit of water on it. If you're using a water-based stain, it's fine. The wood can be a little bit wet. It'll slow down the absorption. If you go out with a water-based stain and you got that sun hitting it and it's 90 degrees and you spray it, it's gonna dry in 30 seconds. You're gonna have no penetration. So that's why you don't want to read your label. It'll tell you, do not spray over X degrees. It might say 80 degrees, don't apply. So you may have to go out evening or early morning and apply these stains. Temperature plays a big role. The biggest message is that wood is only a few days old, and the reason why I'm staining it is because the girls, I have to have that dry, and I have to have the VOC, I have to have those fumes all gone, because in about a week or so, my little chicks, my girls that are starting to grow big, they got to go in there. They got to go in that coop. So I need to make sure that that's actually dry. There's not a bunch of fumes in there. And anyways, that's it. So I'll go up there and stain it. Here we go.
Luke, I am your father. I am your father, Luke. Brand new one. I didn't think I had one. My old one.
My old one was kind of nasty and dirty, but I found a brand new one in storage back here. Thank goodness. Then, so I get out my sprayer. I have a Graco Magnum X7. I've had it for years. I've done so many projects with it. The barn, all kinds of stuff. Well, guess what? It won't prime. And I have done everything. I have knocked the ball. I have done everything I could and it can't. So I called John real quick and I said, dude, are you still at Lowe's? I said, yeah, go buy one of these. So now I got to buy another sprayer. So, I mean, I got 6 years out of it and tons of projects, and I'm just like, I'm just getting another one. The problem with the sprayers is when you use something like an oil base, you really got to clean them, and you really got to make sure you got a bunch of that pump saver inside of it. So anyways, here's where we are. Move this. Here's where we are right now. So they've got the outside, this is a huge run. And we've got the framing up for the roof. We're going to come across with it's like a 1x2 furring strip. They're just going to put furring strips all the way across, running them all the way through here, and then they'll put the metal roof on. The problem we've got is this is a 12-foot run, and if you buy 12-foot aluminum, I didn't, so we had them buy 8-foot panels so that we could overlap 6 inches and still have an overhang on the roof, and that's what I wanted. Because I want a lot of shade over here, and I want a lot of rain protection. Man, that's a big friggin' run, dude. That is a monster. That's a monster house and a monster run. All right, so my savior, John, was still at Lowe's. So I had him pick me up another sprayer. I guess I'll get another 5 years out of it. All right, so I got a brand new Magnum X7 True Airless sprayer. I've got my stain hooked up. Already did a test prime. We're all good. Got it set on there. I've got my tip in. I think it's what, a 311 I'm using. What I'm going to do for in here is I'm actually going to blow a fan outwards to suck some of this stain out. The only thing I don't have, which I wish I had, is goggles. I've got glasses, but I wish I had goggles, because I don't want that stain in my eyeballs, but I know it's going to happen. So anyways,
I'm going in, baby. I'm going in. Alright, so I figured I'd show you the stain color. It's kind of a mahogany brown red. That's what I wanted. I wanted it dark.
oh, all right. Oh shit. So the inside is done. Now I can get out of this damn thing. Holy cow. Sweating my ass off. Of course I didn't wear gloves, and then I had a little bit of a blowout, so I got stain all of my gloves. I got stain on the camera lens. But the inside is done, and that's what I really want to dry. So here's the inside, all stained up. Whew. All right, so now I forgot to tape off my black hinges. I need to tape them off, and then I can start on the outside. Dude, what a cluster that was. And I got stain all in my beard. All in my, I don't even want to know. Do I look like I've got, oh Lord. Anyways, there she is. And the reason why I picked this color is because I was in between painting it red and staining it brown, and this is actually kind of a red brown. And then what I'm going to do is all the trim around the windows and these trim boards, I'm going to paint that all black. Okay, so I'm going to pop around and I'm going to show you some stain projects that we've done around here, and some of them are a 1.5 or 2 years old. But I do want to warn you that if you have vehicles in the area, I've made this mistake twice. Spraying a fence, overspray on my truck. I had these little teeny dots all over my windshield for like 6 months. It's so hard to get them off. Move your vehicles far, far away. When you move it far away, move it twice as much. That stain on a windy day will drift, and you got to talk to your neighbors if you're doing this. I'm just warning you, especially on an oil-based stain, that stain will not dry in the air. It'll carry wet, and it'll land on a vehicle, so just be careful. This fence was installed. We left it, I would say for about a week or week and a half. We let it sit and dry for a week and a half. The 4x4 posts, the fence, all of it, and it's perfect. Nothing. And this was a water-based stain. A 1.5 years old, this fence, and it looks great. Let me show you a little bit different project over on the cabin, where inside this cabin we actually used deck boards. So we used deck boards on the floor in there because we can't control the moisture and temperature inside there. So I didn't want to use regular. I said, let's just put down deck boards. We left those deck boards in there, I would say for about 3 weeks. it was in a cooler temperature. I ran the heat, I ran a ceiling fan in there. We actually used an oil-based stain on the floor in there, and then as an experiment, I actually came over with a water-based polymer over the top of that oil-based stain, which is a floor polymer. It's made for floors. Let me show you how this came out. Okay, so I've got this place a little bit messy, but this is the inside of this cabin. Now that wall, what did I put on that wall? I think that was a water-based stain. We did that wall in. But look at the floors. Now these floors, I put an oil-based like Cabot stain on here. Then I came back with a water-based polymer that is designed for floors, and I put a coat of polymer on top of that. Man, these floors came out absolutely wonderful. You know, we use this, you know, a little hunting lodge or whatever. We didn't want it real pretty, but man, let me tell you what, I was totally shocked at how well this came out. I kind of risked it. I've never done that before, but it worked. Now, one question I get a lot is, can you go back and put a second coat of stain over a stain? Yes, you can. After, I would say after a couple years, if you want to go back, it's probably not going to penetrate. It's going to act more like a paint. But yes, you can. You can go back and apply another coat of stain. Let's talk about my picket fence down at the beach house. After consulting with my fence guy, I actually agreed with him. We used a solid white stain. So we actually used a solid white stain, and that was on there for about 1.5 years, 2 years. Then I went back with an oil-based gloss 2 years later and painted over that solid stain with an oil-based gloss. It's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Let me run up and show you these other projects. Okay, this fence that we had installed up here at the garden, we actually let it sit for about 2 weeks, and then we used the same water-based stain on it. It only dried for about 2 weeks. Same thing, 4x4 posts. It was not down to 12%. They're never going to be there, but you can see they look great. This was close to 1 year ago now. Fence looks absolutely gorgeous. So that's the outside. Again, only 2 weeks. Now here's another special note. If you use KDAT, now KDAT is kiln dried after your treatment. So they do the treatment, they do the whatever it is, the copper, micronized copper, azole, or whatever it is, and then they kiln dry it. They dry it after that treatment. That wood, as soon as it's put up, you can stain it. I guarantee you it's going to be probably about an 8 to 10%. Still check it, but I guarantee you'll stain it. So KDAT lumber. A lot of decks, if you're going to have someone build a deck, have them use KDAT and stain it right away. It's expensive. You can't get KDAT at Lowe's or Home Depot, but it's worth the investment. Here we are, just a couple hours later. I did miss those corners up in there, but that's okay. The door will be closed most of the time. So I'm pretty happy with this. Now what I'm going to do is all the trim I'm going to paint black. Now if you see a big gap here, that's because those boards are actually going to be cut out. There's actually a frame there, and that's going to be my roosting boxes in here. But we wanted the gaps on the side of it. We wanted that airflow. So overall, I think we're looking pretty good here. Let me show you, step back and show you. Maybe you can get some perspective on this now. Just how big this is. So this is 12 feet wide. I've got about 18-inch overhang. We're going to put metal roof all up on here, a door here, a door on that side. At night, the girls will be inside there. There's an automatic steel door that protects them so nothing can get into their coop. So I really don't have to worry about predators coming in at night. But man, that looks great. That coop looks great. I probably wouldn't be a bad idea. It would be kind of cool to paint all these timbers. Maybe paint them black or something like that. That would actually be kind of cool. But with the wire up, actually with the wire up, I could paint them black and you wouldn't even notice it. That might be kind of cool to paint all these black, come out here and spray them. Anyways, I hope this helped out. Again, go to your manufacturer's website, get your stain, ask them, give them a call, say I've got pressure treated lumber, what's the percentage? Now some of your pressure treated lumber, if you buy it at Lowe's or Home Depot, it's going to come in soaking wet. Matter of fact, there's a 2x4s over here. There's 2x4s over here that are absolutely just soaking wet this morning. They just picked these up yesterday. It's going to take a while for those to get down to even 15%. So, anyways, I hope this has helped you guys. Do a little research, and you shouldn't have any problem with your staining. If you have any questions, drop down below. Maybe I'll try and answer them. Duck.